Plato is one of the world's best known and most widely read, studied philosophers. He was a student of Socrates, a teacher of Aristotle. He wrote in the middle of the 4th century BCE, around 2,400 years ago, out from an ancient Greece. They were influenced primarily by Socrates, to the extent that Socrates is usually the main character in many of Plato's writings. He was also influenced by Heraclitus and Parmenides and the Pythagoreans. All a mouthful, aren't they? There are still today varying degrees of controversy over which of Plato's works are authentic and in what order were they written, due to their antiquity and the manner of their preservation through time. Hard to tell. Nonetheless, his earliest works are generally regarded as the most reliable of the ancient sources on Socrates, and the character Socrates that we know through these writings is considered to be one of the greatest ancient philosophers. Many of those plays written by Plato featuring Socrates deliver to us the character as it was that Plato himself had seen him in his time. A robed philosopher teacher, delivering one-on-one the body of a play made up from the scene, and lesson in its conclusion, a learning for the still listening audience of today. In one portrayal, taking the wise advices of Socrates to a higher, brand new level in the rhetoric, the art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing, especially the exploitation of figures of speech and compositional techniques. What he does in a brilliant use of his skills, being a student himself of Socrates, Plato delivers into the discussions at hand, woven into the play, discussing there of the rhetoric, of the best choices in communication, more choosing to the gods, talking between writing or whether it be oral. Plato, in a great use of his skills, delivers into the argument by the very use of the play one more language equally as pleasing to gods. He delivers through the use of art. As the play unfolds, the character Socrates sits together having a conversation with his young pupil Phaedrus under a plane tree by the banks of the Ilissus. Socrates presents there the myth, following a discussion of what forms of rhetoric and writing are most pleasing to the gods. The myth next involves an Egyptian king, Thothmes, along with Thoth, the great spirit, creator of writing. The Jedfor Menkori Thothmes Kaku. Thoth, in his day, a 4th dynasty. 2,200 years then passed. Thoth III reigns alive among us. Plato and Socrates, in their time, that knowledge lost to those, couldn't then know to appreciate the twist in Thothmes reincarnate in discussions there with Thoth. He's talking among himself, an own teacher. Within the lesson, Thoth talking on the correct responsibilities of a writing delivery. His jurisdiction, added into, replied by the student, growing by his knowledge, will become the man, Thothmes Menkori, equally wise, out from his many lives lived, answers in return to a teaching God of writing, replying There are some things exist that can only be personally communicated in an oral tradition. And in this way, writing can be overvalued. And philosopher Plato, using his art to teach the knowledge of Socrates in the discussions of Thothmes.each and Thoth, a god of writing, the importance of an oral delivery.